now we're going live.
So it said Nemo was unable to do something?
But that's just a temporary thing.
Oh,
now it
okay.
is. Okay? So this shows you're recording. There's no people on
Now what shows it recording?
This little dot.
Okay, but there was a red dot.
There's a big dot.
Oh yeah, okay.
Now the small one is there. So let's go over here to
Jangles Queens.
Empty out one more time. Is Laura coming?
Yeah.
I guess you're gonna get front seat this time.
I guess not. I'll manage.
I wasn't sure if it was getting late so much better. Well, she's gonna come and light the other candle, so. That's calm response. Not the way it's
I like it. It was like a great wolf, right? Previously, she said dragons, right? The dragon and the dinosaur. That looks like a great wolf to me.
Judy, you have a script?
Dude, how you doing? Good to see you. What you got? Your sister's got a wolf, isn't it? Looks like a wolf. Created one.
We got rid of the point during the smoke. Yeah. All right.
Star is born. Does he sing?
He's pretty good at dancing. He doesn't quite have the singing. No, sir. You do not need to click the audience.
We're going to sit down right here? Yeah, right there. Or if she's not here, I know Amy goes here, but she does. Amy
I'm sorry, Daryl.
That's all right.
Can it tip down? Okay. All right. I think it's got it. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Auburn Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, located on occupied ancestral land of the Muskogee Nation, and it housed in a building constructed by freed slaves for African Americans. My name's Judy Collins, and I'm your service associate today. Welcome to this misty day of mystery, I call it. I love misty days. This opportunity to be together in community, which is a time of joy, a time of comfort, and sometimes challenge. This Unitarian Universalist congregation is a place where we come to learn more about being human. We're not here because we figured it all out and know all of life's questions, or because we think we've got it right. We come to learn more about being in relationship all together. How to listen, how to forgive, how to be vulnerable, and how to create trust and compassion in one another. I call your attention to the announcements that are printed on the back of the order of service. Well, I don't think there are many today, so we'll listen for the spoken ones. Announcements will be heard at the end of the hour. On behalf of the members of this fellowship, I extend a special welcome to all visitors and those who are joining us for the first time and those who still feel like visitors. If you've not already done so, please fill out the visitor book at the back where the table is. And you can do so digitally by those who may be watching by visiting auf.org/visitor. You may also contact our minister, Rev. Chris Rothbauer, at minister@auf.org with any questions, concerns you may have. As we prepare for our service this morning, please remember to turn your phone and other electronic devices to silent. Let us move into the service willing to be authentic with each other, honest within ourselves, and open to connection in all its forms.
Our opening words this morning are from Nathan Ryan. Be it real or metaphor, whatever is in your backpack or your briefcase or your purse that you brought into this sanctuary that is weighing you down, leave it behind. Whatever you are carrying that is keeping you distracted or caught up in shame or guilt or hopelessness, leave it behind. If you need it, it will be there when we're done. But for this hour, just let it go. Come into this place with open hearts. Come into this place with a soul that has remembered how to be tender again. Come into this place with a renewed hope for this world. Come into this place, ready to build a world we've always been worthy of and have always dreamed of.
We light our chalice this morning with these words from Jean L. Wallstrom. In this small flame we dwell, the beacon light of lanterns guiding travelers home, the warmth of hearth fires over the many generations, the transforming energy of furnaces and the power and life of our sun. May these blessings, warmth, light, life-giving energy, be kindled in each of us now. As is our tradition, we also light a candle in solidarity with those families separated at the southern border. I invite you now to join in body or spirit. If you want to rise, rise, and if you want to sit, sit. And let's sing the opening hymn in the teal hymnal, the small paper hymnal, number 1010, We Give Thanks.
Now, as often happens, the hymnal should be just taken as a guide. If you look at the second page, we've changed some of the words using the our almost responsibility. So it says, for this time we will sing this time, then the next time we're going to sing this 3 times through, we'll sing place, and the last time we will sing gifts. I will tell you as we get there, so don't panic. Don't have to memorize all this. Also, we will, as is our tradition, do a little counterpoint, and you can decide whether or not you want to do that. So what we do, we give thanks, and then somebody else gets to sing, we give thanks through this grateful day, or this precious day, So do or not as you feel inspired. No. Okay. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for all gathered here, and far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. For all gathered here and this far away, in a place now, for this place we share with love and care. We give thanks for this precious day. We give thanks for this precious day. All gathered here and this far away. Yes, now gifts for the gifts we share. With love and care. We give thanks for this precious day. This precious day.
One of the ways we proclaim, as we have just done, another way, but we proclaim the warmth and caring of our community by sharing our joys, concerns, and milestones. If you are joining us virtually, we invite you, please type your joy, concern, or milestone in the YouTube chat box during the music for meditation, thanks to Andrew. We invite those in person to one at a time, drop a pebble into our communal bowl during the music for meditation. Spoken joys and concerns will be invited following the music. invite you, if you have a joy, concern, or milestone, to come forward one at a time and briefly share it into the microphone. To help maintain social distancing, please do not line up, but come forward after the last person has left the microphone, which Laura is fixing for us. Thank you.
I have a joy. The sales for Diana's Pantry totaled up to $100, $87 in cash and $16 in PayPal. Thank you all very much.
Just grab a handful of those little things. Good morning. We've had a really busy week. Last Monday, we got my brother on the airplane. It's amazing how the family comes together to get rid of people. But no, he actually was going to be with his wife in the Philippines, and he is there and happy, and it's beautiful. He's got a family there now. Also this week, yesterday, we had the Hometown Roots in Campbell, Alabama. We had nearly 100 people show up. It was a wonderful success, and Warren, Jess, and all the people, they worked their butts off, and I guess I did too, because I'm definitely tired. And finally, Christopher Watley back here, he's not going to make an announcement, but he graduated yesterday. So.
Well, I have two joys. Judy Collins over here. It's her birthday today. And I'm going to have a birthday this week. And it's going to be really, I'll be 84, and I'm still vertical. And our book group, most of us live alone, so I'm not the only one. And it's going to be a really good birthday because our book group meets at lunch now because none of us want to drive after dark. So our book group meets on my birthday, and no, it's going to be good, you know. It's going to be really good. So, okay. And it's at my best friend's house. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to it. At 84, you know, you're lucky if you have something to look forward to.
Chris, birthday lady, everybody. I have a joy. Thanks to Christian Care Ministries and Apostle Carolyn Ann Morton, we got a chance to wish people a Merry Christmas and give them a Christmas yesterday. Lots of children were there. Lots of people from in the community there. So I was very happy for that. And I got to play Santa.
Thanks to all who have shared their joys, concerns, milestones this morning. Now, there is something that was submitted in advance that I will read. Concern for a precious friend, Robert, who has just begun receiving hospice care after decades of loving care for the entire world via environmental, justice, and peace efforts, particularly war tax resistance. A copy of his An Ethic for the 21st Century is on the coffee table for whoever to browse through, and it can stay around AUF as long as it will. There's great joy for this weekend's visit with a cherished friend, long traveling the path of compassion. She manifests her primary aspiration of being, quote, an open-hearted presence, unquote, to the very diverse, precious ones in our web of life. And finally, Connie has already announced, today is my 83rd birthday. Uh-oh, I'm reading it myself. With deepest gratitude for life and prayer that we may all, in our different ways, be about birthing better life. So, happy day, everybody. May all the joys, concerns, milestones of this community those shared aloud, and those held in silence be received into the care and the concern of all present. As we light the third Advent candle, as Laura is approaching, we hear from Erica A. Hewitt. Advent is a season of waiting and expectation and of longing. On this third Sunday of Advent, we light one more candle on our wreath, the pink candle that celebrates joy. How is it, you might wonder, that we could celebrate joy when there's all so much suffering all around within in this world? Isn't that contradictory? It's an exercise of faith to address the unknown, which can also be called the not yet known. Advent is a season of watchfulness. We listen and keep vigil for the promise of things to come. We speak and sing about the promise of the not yet manifest, as reflected in the words of familiar hymns.
O come, Emmanuel. People look east, the time is near. Love, the guest, is on the way. There's a star in the east, it will lead you. These are the songs of hopeful, songs of faith. These hymns encourage us to enter and consent to the practice of open possibility. Joy is one of the qualities that, if not yet present within us, will come to us in its own time. This light of joy, then, doesn't require that you experience joy now, today, in your immediate surroundings. Instead, it's a reminder to wait for it with faithfulness that overshadows pain and cynicism. May the lighting of this candle bring us patience, grant us faith, draw us closer to joy. So we're lighting a candle for hope 2 weeks ago, and a candle of peace from a week ago, and a candle of joy for this week. Thank you.
Our moment for all ages today is led by our coordinator of religious exploration, Angela Farmer.
Judy, it's my birthday too! Happy birthday! Happy birthday! And I have a birthday story. And I brought birthday presents for my friends. Because it's my birthday, I brought presents to share with all of you. But first, let's hear the story. Yes, they're good bags. I want 2 birthdays. Sure, thank you. It was the little princess's birthday. She had a royal cake and lots of presents. Mom, she says, why do you have 2 birthdays and I have only 1? Well, said the queen, queens always have 2 birthdays. There's one for me to share with you and one to share with all the people. I want 2 birthdays then, said the little princess. Could you imagine having 2 birthdays?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. That would be fun.
And 2 days is a birthday cake.
2 days of birthday cake. That's what the little princess wants. So the prime minister put 2 birthdays in the diary for the little princess. One in the autumn when she was born, and one in the winter to cheer things up. 2 birthdays meant 2 cakes and twice as many presents every year. This is fun, said the little princess. But 3 birthdays would be even better.
Yeah, that's 3 days of birthday cake.
Goodness. So 3 birthdays were put into the diary. 1 in the autumn when she was born, 1 in the winter to cheer things up, and 1 in the spring. Can't leave summer out, said the little princess. I want 4 birthdays. What do you think she's gonna end up doing?
4 birthday cakes and lots of presents.
The little princess loved her birthdays. She loved getting up on the special day and getting specially clean. She loved the special cakes and all the special presents. Why can't I have more special birthdays, she thought. So she had a word with the Prime Minister and she had more birthdays put into the diary.
There are almost 100! How many?
There are so many. She had a birthday on every day of the year.
Every day.
So every day the cook had to make another cake. But they got smaller. And every day everybody had to buy presents. But they were not as nice. The admiral gave her a piece of chewing gum that he had finished chewing. The general gave her a piece of string with a knot in it. The maid gave her a broken peg. The next day, the king gave her a broken pencil. Tomorrow, he said, you can have an old pen with no ink in it. Pooh, said the little princess. These are rotten presents. The little princess spat out that day's birthday cake. Pooh, she said, it's got no currants or anything in it, and last week's birthday cards were still on the mantelpiece. Every day, the little princess had to stay specially clean for her special birthday parties, but everyone stopped coming because they couldn't afford the presents. Oops, missed one. At last, Gilbert was the only one at the little princess's party. Right there. Where's my present, Gilbert, she asked. Haven't got one because I'm a toy bear, said Gilbert. Happy birthday. At least that's what she thought he said. Oh no, groaned the little princess. Not again. Wait. Not again. Why can't I play like I used to? Why can't I get dirty? Because today is your birthday, said the maid. Put on this nice, clean crown. Every day is my birthday, said the little princess. I want a special day, different from the others. We must go see your mom and dad then, said the maid. I want a special day, different to all the others, said the little princess. Hummed the king. What you need is an unbirthday. Just one unbirthday every year, and that will be your special day. We, squealed the little princess. Lovely, what day shall I have my unbirthday on? How about on the day you were born? We'll remember it that way. And that's next Wednesday. So the little princess was so excited, she had to wait a whole week until her unbirthday arrived. And when it did arrive, the cook baked a very special unbirthday cake, and everyone brought very special presents to the unbirthday party, and the little princess had a very special day. And she had to wait a whole year until the next one. I wish I had an unbirthday every day, she said. If you did, then it wouldn't be special, would it, said the maid. So, it is a giant bee, and don't open these until we're outside, but you want to help me find?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I can help you. I'm a great finder.
You are a great finder. Let's see.
I can read.
It's got your name on it and everything.
Owen. This one's for Owen.
Yeah, your name on it. That one is for Owen. I bet you this one. I put them in alphabetical order, so that one's probably yours. There you go. And then we'll bring the rest of these over to the RE building, and when our friends show up, we'll give them to them then. Yeah? Okay. You're welcome. Please, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Please join me in the spirit of contemplation in whatever way feels right with these words from Barbara Hamilton Hallway. Let there be a quiet time among us. Here is our chance once again to love like we wish the world would love. May we find within ourselves the courage to be who we are. May we know when it is time to listen and when it is time to speak. May we trust ourselves to be the ones to find the words that need to be said or to do what needs to be done. May we trust one another to know there are many ways to go through life. May we know that though we cannot change some of what life gives to us, we can choose how we deal with what we are given. We are coming into our power, and together we can make possible justice and love. We are connected. We depend upon one another more than we know. We are one body. Blessed be.
The purpose of Unitarian Universalist communities is to encourage all who gather to grow more generous in spirit and in action. This is the great end of all the world's faith traditions, to bring the human being closer to the divine by acts of creation and compassion. As is our custom on the second Sunday of each month, we now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support our organization in the community whose values align with our own, that is doing amazing work in the Auburn, Opelika area. For the month of December, 100% of unpledged donations in our offering basket will go to support the Diana's Pantry. Diana's Pantry is a ministry of AUF. 100% of donations go to purchase food and other items needed by members in our community. Diana's Pantry works year-round to ensure that members of the AUF community are provided with essential items in their times of need. For more information on Diana's Pantry, contact the coordinator of the program, Noriko Isle, and Amy Kaiser. To make a donation online via PayPal, please visit auf.org/donate. Please indicate in the notes whether your donation is for your pledge or the offering. If you're writing a check, please make your check payable to AUF with a note on the memo line, whether it's for the offering or your pledge, and drop it in the offering bowl, or Mail it to P.O. Box 669, Auburn, Alabama 36831. The offering will now be gratefully received. Now, a reading from Charles Eisenstein. Why does the sun shine? A random result of coalescing gases igniting nuclear fusion? Or is it in order to give its light and warmth to life? Why does the rain fall? Is it the senseless product of blind chemical processes of evaporation and condensation? Or is it to water life? Why do you seek to pour forth your song? Is it to show off your genetic fitness to attract a mate? Or is it to contribute to a more beautiful world? We may fear those first answers, but it's the second that carries the ring of truth and harnesses them. Every culture, as far as I know, has something I call a story of the world. That story is a weave of myths, meanings, narratives, words, symbols, rituals, agreements that together define the world. That story tells us who we are, how to be a man or a woman, what is important and valuable, what is real, what is sacred, and what humanity's role and purpose is on earth. The world's dominant culture, the one called modern, has a story of the world too. Charles Eisenstein says, I call it the story of separation. I won't go too deep into it now because I bet you already know intuitively what I'm talking about. It's the story that holds us as separate individuals and holds humanity separate from nature. In the story of separation, giving does not come naturally. In fact, that story says our default nature is selfishness down to the genetic level. If I'm separate from you, then the more for me is the less for you. That's just the way it is. In the story of separation, trust does not come naturally either. The world is our adversary, full of other competing, separate individuals, human, otherwise, whom we must overcome to have a good life, be they weeds, germs, the Russians, whatever. Beyond that, the forces of nature are adversaries too, because they are utterly random and the whole universe tends toward entropy. There's no intelligence or purpose outside of ourselves. Therefore, to establish a comfortable human habitation in the world, we must dominate and control these forces, insulate ourselves from them, and harness them to our purposes. That's what the story of separation says. Where in that story is there room for gratitude? Where is there room for gift? In the story of separation, you basically have to rise above human nature, rise above the way of the world to be selfless, generous, or altruistic. Becoming a good person then involves a sort of conquest, a conquest of self. It's the same domination of nature, this time turned inward. Now, I have to say this story is quickly becoming obsolete. Even its scientific dimension in genetics, physics, biology, they're crumbling. In complexity theory, we understand that order can emerge spontaneously out of chaos without an external organizing force. In ecology, we understand the well-being of one is inseparable from the well-being of all. So let me talk about gift, generosity, and gratitude from the perspective of another story, a new and ancient story I like to call interbeing. In the story of interbeing, life is a gift. The world and everything in it is a gift. We did not earn our lives. We did not earn the sun. It's not thanks to our hard efforts that it shines. We did not earn the ability of plants to grow and thrive. We did not earn water. We did not earn our conception, our breath. Our hearts beat and our livers metabolize all on their own. Life is a gift.
When I was a kid, Christmas was something very special to me. I used to love waking up on Christmas morning and finally getting to open all those presents that my parents had wrapped for me and put under the tree weeks ago. In some sort of weird torture ritual, I got to see all of these different things, and it was very much emphasized that I was to give gifts back. There was a sort of reciprocity in all of it, an opportunity to really come together. It's funny. The older I get and the less biological family I have, the more Christmas has come to feel like just another day sometimes. And as I reflect on it, there's an interesting lesson in the Christmases of my childhood. I'm aware that a child is a little being who depends upon their parents for a lot. I didn't have the money to buy what I wanted or even to buy the food or water I needed to survive or to put shelter over my head. I depended on others for that. And so when those things came, at least for me, there was a bit of gratitude. We witness that so much when watching kids. I was watching Everett during the Moment for All Ages this morning and smiling at his joyfulness, which is so appropriate for the third Advent candle today. And yet, what if we put this chalice down at his level? We don't, for good reason. It's not that he would be doing anything wrong, but it's part of the gift that we offer him, the gift of looking out for his interests so that hopefully he won't have a burned hand. Isaac's nodding his head in thankfulness for that. But how often, as we get to be adults, do we forget, at least some of us, how important gifts are and what a gift even is? I probably drive Calvin a little bit crazy because when he asks me what I want as a gift, I have a really hard time telling him. And the reason is because there's not a whole lot I lack in this life, at least not that he can give me. I really don't need the latest knick-knack or technological product off Amazon. If he wanted to get that for me, I'd appreciate it. He could get me an Amazon gift card, but I mean, I'm going to get that anyway. And yet, there is still something sacred about gift giving. I talked last week about how Charles Eisenstein has proposed that we are living under the myth of separation. The myth that each of us is a separate individual, that we're all pitted against nature, and that resources are scarcity. And yet when you're a kid on Christmas Day, it sure doesn't seem that way. But we learn over the years that more for you is less than me. And when I say me, I mean anyone who grew up in the dominant culture. If we are separate, then it doesn't matter how we treat each other in the world. And so we have the pickle of the system that we are in today. Eisenstein says that our current system encourages the creation of capital. Now, money isn't inherently a bad thing. He proposes that the reason money was originally created was as a gift. You've done something for me, but I don't have anything to pay you back right now, so I'm going to give you money as a gift. The problem is that starting with the ancient Greeks, money made it possible to accumulate wealth and hoard it. The resulting has been, he says, an ever-increasing desire to grow everything. Everything must grow. We must find new technologies. I don't see any faces in here who grew up fairly recently, so I have a feeling that none of you imagined the possibility of a camera that would broadcast me into your home when I was a kid, or an iPad that would help you watch The Moment for All Ages, and yet here they are. And these aren't inherently bad things, but when they're created with merely the profit motive in mind, he says that what it does is drives dependency, consumerism, and the need to make a living, because you will always need more and more in order to buy more and more. This is in contrast to traditional societies where time was not so much about money, but hunter-gatherers we think, tended to have more time on their hands. In fact, in order to get the stuff they needed to survive, it took them relatively little amount of time compared to how some of us work 12-hour days. The result is that we have bigger and better everything, but less time, more problems, and less community. In fact, I don't know any of my neighbors. I say hi to them occasionally as I walk by, but I couldn't tell you their name if you asked me. A census worker came to my door a couple years ago and asked me who my neighbors were. I couldn't tell her. And the reason is because we've come to depend on the community less and less for everything. We need one of everything. And so, because we have come to believe that more for you is less for me. If we believe that there is always more to consume, always more to create, then it is possible to believe that we must get stuff before everyone else gets it first. Eisenstein suggests that we start looking for the more beautiful worlds our hearts know is possible. Now, I don't have time to go into the intricacies of his proposals. His books detail monetary plans that even I have trouble following at times, like negative interest. But I want to focus on one thing he mentions: the gift economy. Eisenstein suggests the gift economy as a model of how to bring human needs back in line with human fulfillment. Gifts are given with no expectation of reward or compensation, but not turning away from it either. Gifts have traditionally implied a duty that the receiver of the gift to the giver to take care of them, and those who don't return the gift might be willing to find that people aren't really willing to give anymore. I experienced this myself on a train ride once in Morocco. I was sitting in a train carriage my second day there on the way down to the capital city of Rabat. And a young guy, not much younger than me, sat down across from me and found out I spoke English. And he was delighted to have someone to practice English with. And so we did. We talked in English for a long time. He even helped me understand the conductor when he would come around and say something to me in Arabic. And I noticed he had an English book there that he had picked up in a secondhand shop in Tangier. And I mentioned that I really liked that book. And he took his book and he offered it directly to me. I was a little uncomfortable. I didn't want to take his book. And yet, he was insistent, and I got the impression that if I turned him down, it would be an insult. It wasn't about the book per se, but I now think that what he was doing was paying me back for the gift of my time, the gift of being able to talk with me in English and to practice his English, which he, funnily enough, said he learned from listening to Eminem songs. He gave of himself because he cared about me in that moment, and he cared about giving back as much as I had given to him. Just so, I want to propose that we can give of ourselves and our talents because we care about the world and want to see it thrive. I think that if every one of us did this, we wouldn't have to expect that the gift would be returned. I didn't expect him to give me a book on that train ride, but he did. The more we give of ourselves, the more we might find others will share with us in the process. As Robin Wall Kimmerer says, action on behalf of life transforms. It transforms us all. Because the relationship between self and the world is reciprocal. And the reality that the gift economy teaches us is that rather than having a scarcity of what we need, there is an abundance waiting to be discovered. In fact, Eisenstein disagrees with environmentalists who think we'll need to cut back and go back to a more primitive style of life. Eisenstein thinks that we will discover that there are so much when we share. In fact, in his future communities, he envisions that, do we really all need a lawnmower or a car? Maybe there are things we can share among each other that would make all of our lives better, that would allow us to cooperate instead of competing, that would teach us that more for you is more for me. Now, I don't propose that you go and tell your boss tomorrow that you don't need to be paid anymore. In fact, Eisenstein's been doing a pretty interesting experiment for years where, although he's a very in-demand, internationally sought speaker, his speaker fees are by pay from your heart. Now, he has gotten some very generous people that way, but he's also gotten burnt pretty hard that way. But he doesn't think that's because of selfishness. He thinks it's because we haven't quite gotten used to the idea of valuing people's time yet. He wonders aloud in some of his blog posts whether people might need to realize that pay from the heart doesn't mean my time's not valuable or less valuable. But what he does think is that there is another way forward. During the pandemic, the resurgence of mutual aid groups really taught me how important this reciprocity is. In fact, it was an unfortunate reality that so many people were in need, and yet the government did little to provide for them other than the $600 check and a little more unemployment. But mutual aid groups rose up, which were people giving to one another without expectation of return, because we cared about what happened to one another. What would it be like if we were able to bring that line of thinking into more of what we did? I see experiments like this already out there. Websites where you can give away stuff. Instead of buying a new spoon, maybe someone you know has a spoon that they can give you. Couch surfing is another example that's come to the forefront, but I wonder how much more is already on the horizon. I don't know what the world would look like with a gift economy. But I wonder if we all went back and looked at our lives and what we could share, what we would find. Maybe it's not quite time to work for free completely, but that doesn't mean we can't move towards sharing our lives with one another. It's funny, when I was a kid, if someone died in the neighborhood, the entire neighborhood baked a bunch of casseroles to the point that you were casseroled out for the year. And yet when my mother died, I'm aware that the only people who baked for me were people who were members of my congregation, who didn't live around me. Maybe congregations are a way towards that gift mentality. After all, I smell Peter's bread, so I know at least one of you brought something for potluck today, and you didn't have to do that. And if you didn't do that, we would probably all go home and eat lunch. And yet you did, because you wanted to. I wonder, what is the role of a congregation such as ours in this sort of reciprocity? And what can we do to build towards this world? Robin Wall Kimmerer says that even a wounded world is feeding us. Even a wounded world holds us, giving us moments of wonder and joy. I choose joy over despair, not because I have my head in the sand, but because joy is what the earth gives me daily, and I must return the gift. This is my challenge for you this week. Where are your gifts? What is under your proverbial Christmas tree that you can give to others? What can you help others do to feel more valued in the world? May we be holders of the world that our heart knows is possible. May it be so. Our closing hymn is number 331, Life is the Greatest Gift of All. I would like to invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join us.
We're going to try something different this time. We're going to do it as written.
Please join me now in extinguishing our chalice. You'll find the words in your order of service. Everybody find them? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please do be our guest today after the service for monthly potluck and coffee hour here in the sanctuary. This is an opportunity to chat with people about the service or just how their week went. All, please know, all are welcome to join, and if you didn't bring a dish, they'll be like manna from heaven or whatever. We will share what we do have. If you're not signed up for our email list, please make sure to do so to receive updates about ways in which to connect. You can find information on signing up at our website, auuf.org/subscribe. Are there any written announcements? Cindy?
The UUSC table is open again. I have note cards and holiday stockings and other little things. If you are interested in anything, just put in a donation of any amount, and it all goes to UUSC. This is the gift at our table time of year, so they're collecting as much money as they can for human rights efforts around the world.
Thank you, Cindy Rinke.
Several announcements. One is next week is Spirit in Practice. We'll be doing spiritual friendships next week. So if you are interested in exploring spiritual practices, you're invited to come next week during second hour in the Upper Bush Center. We'll be having a Blue Christmas service on December 22nd at 7 o'clock. This is a second annual type of thing. If you didn't come last year, this is the opportunity. If you don't feel joyful during the holiday season, you can come and be as grumpy or sad or angry as you like. All emotions will be welcome during this service. That will be Thursday, December 22nd at 7 o'clock. And finally, just a reminder, especially if you haven't been around here for a while, that we do have a Christmas Eve service. It'll be at 6 o'clock on December 24th. I'm in the interesting position this year that I haven't had very many people offer music. I've only had about three people or groups offer music. So if you would like to offer music, I'll be sending out another reminder, but please let me know. We will find a way to plug you in. A lot of people love hearing the music, so even if you don't feel completely comfortable, I bet you people are still going to clap for you.
This is going to be your last chance to get any Christmas wrappings, paper, ribbons, whatever. If you want to make a donation, give it to UUSC. Hopefully by the end of the week, that will disappear. So get it while it's hot.
Judy, Chris, everybody. Advance warning about the coffee. You may notice that it's a little bit grounded this morning, and I will apologize for that. Trying to figure out whether I put too much in the pot or whether I didn't put enough water. So if it comes out weird, you know in advance. But enjoy it anyway. Thank you.
I'd like to announce, and I'll definitely send out an email for further information. Robert and I are hosting at our house the 30th annual vining event. We'll have vines cut from the wine fields or grape fields of Tuskegee, and all sorts of interesting natural materials. We'll make wreaths. You take them home, and then you have an opportunity, perhaps, on Sunday to bring some in. I'll send out more information. It's at our house from, which is nearby, Hurd Avenue, from 10 to 3-ish. It's come and go, very loose. We'll make stone soup. There'll be vegetarian food for lunch, chili, and anything else anyone else brings. So look for that and come on Saturday.
Then on Sunday, in competition with, what was that?
Spirit practice.
Spirit practice?
Spirited practice.
Spirited practice. If you choose not to attend spirited practice, you could come over here and do some spirited practice by helping us decorate the sanctuary. So they've got choices next Sunday. And you can use even the wreaths you make at the vining in decorating here. So, we welcome all the gifts that everyone has to offer to help make this place be beautiful for the season. Thanks.
Yeah, I did finally get the announcement for the holiday helping boxes. We'll be collecting your donations over at the Bush Center on the porch. Just drop them off there, and I'll be coming periodically to put them in one of the RE rooms. And the teams will be putting them together next Sunday. So, and we also will accept cash to fill in the holes that might be in the list. That's also included in the email. And one may not be the first time, one of the few times for the vining is we'll have some cotton. So I gleaned a field after it had been harvested, so we have some interesting stuff to put on the wreaths on Saturday.
Can I just do it like this? Next Sunday, Conrad Ross will do the Jewish cantering, and that's not to be missed. So spread the word. It's just wonderful. I tried to talk him into getting up here and announcing it himself, but he's shy.
Good morning, this is Noriko. Thank you for all the help and the donations for Diana's Pantry. We are going to continue to collect donations for Diana's Pantry Holiday Drive. And also Lucy's gift card raffle, it's still going on. And then we decided that we're gonna do the raffle on the second Sunday of January, at the beginning of the potluck. So we will know who the winner is going to be. So please see Amy Kaiser or me for that as well. And just a reminder, I'm leaving the card for Emerald, who is going through chemotherapy, who went through chemotherapy and now recovering, and to write something on that card. If you have a financial contribution to her as well, I'll be glad to bring it to her. So I'm going to leave the card here. Thank you.
And Noriko, the tickets for the raffle are $2, right? Or 3 for $5, and people can get them from
$2 for one, $5 for 3.
Thank you, Amy. And people can come to you or to Noriko to get them, right?
I have the tickets.
Yes.
Noriko will point.
I will be just a messenger.
Amy has the tickets, so line up, you all, and help Diana's Pantry while you're doing it, and somebody will get to go to Lucy's for a $100 feast. So celebrate. Thank you. My page is empty.
Let's join us now for a benediction.
Oh, I'm sorry. Join us now for our benediction, please. We will sing, and then Chris will give the final word. For the world,
Our benediction is by Max A. Coots. After the words, a song and song a silence. After the crowds, only the memory recall the gathering. Peace and justice have need of you after the words, the music, and the gathering. May you have the depth for dedication and justice. May you have the will to be an apostle of peace. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace.
Yeah.